Caffeine. It is the pick-me-up of our morning coffee. But in recent years, it's become the target of nutritionists and doctors and others concerned about what we pour into our bodies. The no caffeine campaigns have become a marketing device unto themselves. And tonight, a close-up look at caffeine from reporters Paula Gunnis and Randy Ripplinger.
At the coffee shop where you always stop, caffeine. Well, the Java's hot, it really hits the spot, caffeine.
The morning fix, drugs in a cup, the use of caffeine is thousands of years old, but our awareness of it is really relatively young. Many of us are trying to give it up, while some of us are consuming caffeine without even knowing it. And now, even the caffeine pushers are trying to go caffeine-free because they have found there are profits there.
Name a soft drink with no caffeine.
For some reason, the 7-Up company started a caffeine-free campaign in 1981, and for some reason, its sales boomed.
It increased just about overnight. It just gave us an overnight increase.
The 7-Up's Never Had It, Never Will campaign was so successful, other products began to advertise not having it too. Now, even the drinks known for their caffeine have jumped on the bandwagon. The last to join the decaf decade was Coca-Cola.
Caffeine-free Coke says, taste them all.
We do not believe that. As far as our studies show, that caffeine is not harmful, and we don't believe it to be. The study was done by the Coca-Cola company, and what we did is we interviewed cola drinkers, and we found that approximately 30% of those cola drinkers wanted a choice. You know, at some time during the day, they would like to have a caffeine-free product.
The Food and Drug Administration has been fickle in its regulation of caffeine, too. Depending on how you consume it, it can be a drug or a food. And you can legally consume more caffeine in food than you can in drugs. Analgesics, for example, have a maximum of 65 milligrams per dose by federal law. But soda pop, say Mountain Dew, has as much as 54 milligrams in one can, but no federal regulations are warning how many soft drinks you should have in a day. And the drug shows up in many other foods.
Baked goods, frozen baked products, gelatins, puddings, and soft candies.
Why is it in those?
Basically, it serves as a flavor enhancer.
That flavor enhancer ranges from 30 to 60 milligrams in a soft drink, compared with 115 milligrams in a 5-ounce cup of average strength coffee. Teas have 30 to 60 milligrams in 5 ounces too. This 12-ounce package of semi-sweet chocolate chips packs 240 milligrams of caffeine. Milk chocolate candies have 4 or 5 milligrams in 1 ounce. FDA know?
When it comes to other than pregnancy, we don't know very much right now. We do know that when you really overdose on it, the kind of effects affect the nervous system, and we have that well documented.
And while the decaf craze is enjoying a heyday, we are still consuming caffeine in more drugs, in more foods, and throughout more of our lives.
In the last decade, the soft drink industry has hit on a marketing ploy that has worked. Advertisers could hardly stress health or pocketbook advantages. Instead, their commercials sold a way of life. The Pepsi generation has lived up to the name Madison Avenue bestowed on it. Per capita consumption of soft drinks has nearly tripled, with much of the gain scored in the youth market. But with more kids drinking soft drinks at an earlier age, they are also getting more of something else, caffeine.
Well, this one patient is a young teenager who's in otherwise good health who came in with a little insomnia problem. And in talking about drugs and the use of drugs, he did not use any drugs, but he was consuming enough Coke that had caffeine in it that by itself was causing his insomnia problem.
Dr. Sunderland calls caffeine a highly abused drug, and especially by the younger generation.
It's still something that really should be taken in moderation, if taken at all.
Many teens who grow up to be adults don't give up their caffeine habit. Gloria Lewis drinks an 8-pack of Diet Pop a day.
I am a Pepsi addict.
I
I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go straight to the fridge, get my Pepsi out, grab my cigarettes, and have to have at least a 16-ounce Pepsi before I can get started in the morning.
In that daily 8-pack of pop, Gloria consumes 384 milligrams of caffeine. That's equivalent to a little over 3 cups of coffee. Some nutritionists, doctors, and researchers say anything over 200 milligrams a day is too much.
Large doses, it can cause serious problems. It can cause cardiac arrhythmias. It can even cause seizures in acute overdoses. But we don't think of that. We just think of the good effect that the caffeine has when we drink our soda pop.
An excess of caffeine not only gives some people the shakes, it also affects calcium levels in the body. A research study at Washington State University discovered significant amounts of calcium are lost after drinking several cups of coffee a day.
We are concerned that if this pattern were to continue for the rest of the day, or if these losses couldn't be compensated for, then that would accelerate certain diseases such as osteoporosis or bone loss associated with aging.
In the past few years, caffeine has been linked to cancer, birth defects, and heart disease, but a majority of the studies have been inconclusive.
Well, at this point, you may be wondering, is there anything good about caffeine? Well, recent research shows that by adding caffeine to over-the-counter medications such as Excedrin, that relief is increased by about 40%. Even so, some companies have taken caffeine out of their product for whatever reason. The FDA really doesn't have a stand on over-the-counter medications and caffeine, but they are expected to take up the issue again this year.
And as we have been told about the hazards of too much sugar and too much salt, doctors and nutritionists say moderation is also the key when it comes to caffeine. I'm Paula Gunnis, Channel 2 News.